So Aries van Leuven leads the way then as we get ready to go race in the UCI Downhill Junior Men's World Cup. 6th round, Loudenvielle, Peyragueux. On its way, Rudy Eichhorn warming up. 13 degrees Celsius here in the Pyrenees. There are rumours of rain later on this afternoon. What effect could that have on our elite races? We'll get to them when we get to them. Mikey De La Salle for Gwyn Racing. The boss is back this weekend. Aaron Gwyn coming up in the elite men's race. One of his proteges will get us underway in this one. Bodie Burke, a lot of chatter around him. The Outlaw United rider is in the mix, as is Dane Jewett. Asa Vermette starting, let's call it politely, further down than we would expect. The newly crowned UCI World Champion. Is he suffering a bit of a World Champs hangover? Young man from Durango for Frameworks Racing. And there is the start hut, and we are off and racing here in Loudenvielle, Peyragueux at the 6th round of the Junior Men's Downhill World Cup. Mikey De La Salle, excuse me. Huge talent. If you're rated highly by none other than Aaron Gwyn, then you're pretty good. De La Salle, Canadian rider, 49th at UCI World Championships in Pal Aaron Sal Andorra. So didn't quite go his way, but had some good results earlier on this year. Leogang, unfortunately didn't make finals, but after that, Leger, 19th. So clearly enjoying racing here in France, and gives us our first chance to have a look at the top section of this track in Loudenvielle, Peyragueux. Largely unchanged since it made its debut last year. De La Salle on that Crestline bike. California brand that Aaron Gwyn is invested in and is looking to work with on this high pivot downhill bike. Thing of beauty that it is. Olin suspension for the team this season as well. De La Salle looking good here. Similar, as different as this place is from last weekend in Andorra, similar in the sense that the top section really fast, really open, which makes it more about not losing time as opposed to making a whole lot of time. But we saw in the qualifying session yesterday, Loic Bruni absolutely mighty up top, came into the trees, a nearly 3-second lead as De La Salle locks up the back wheel, manages to get the bike turned. Junior men's downhill, everyone. You're going to see a lot more of that this afternoon. De La Salle, chest really flat to the bars. Great shape on the bike. As he heads into this really steep section. This is the section that caused the junior race to be cancelled last year in the rain. Just getting too churned up. But pretty much primed today. Had a load of rain earlier in the week. Yesterday, thankfully the sun came out, things got very hot, and it's kind of baked all the ruts into the track, which is where you want to be. As we wait for the third split for De La Salle. Manuals his way through that hole. So 2:53.5 into that third split. We saw during the junior women's race that there was time up there. Heather Wilson, massive save through this very section during that race. Just got bucked slightly and had to gather things back up, but got the job done for second. De La Salle's look good here. Really smooth on a track that is anything but smooth. Everything still to play for in both junior UCI World Cups, unlike the elites. Desal crosses the line to give us our benchmark time of a 3:42.5. Good start to proceedings from the young Canadian. Looked like he made good sense of that on the crest line as we head up. Raphael Pelletier leaves the start hut then, the first French rider in this race, and he is a national champion as well, and he's 2 seconds faster than the Canadian. Down the centre of the track there, trying to stay out of the ruts until he absolutely needs to. Cross the line, goes into the hot seat, 2 seconds faster than Desal. So check of the body language, just sort of moves the head around. John Moselle, big Canadian, pushing a huge gear out of the start hut there for We Are One Momentum Project. I can tell you the fastest qualifying time from yesterday was a 3:39.5 for Max Allrun. So we're still just outside that, by not by much, on a slightly drier track as Moselle gets sent off the track. Back end got away from him, then it gripped, then it shot him off. Looks to be all right though. Young Canadian with a big future ahead of him, just checks back up the track. Let's see that again. And it went wrong from quite far up, pushed him off the line. It slid and then it gripped. Oh, that right shoulder took a big hit there. And there's been carnage on this track all week long.
5.
And we're likely to see a bit more of it today. Omri Danon from Commensal Les Ors. Super smooth through that, but it's not gone well. The Israeli Danon just front wheel just drifted off the top of that berm. Wasn't really a lack of grip, just kind of misjudged the line as we head back to the top then.
5.
For Lino Newman, there is starting to see some real young German talent in the junior UCI World Cup ranks. Nation really in love with mountain biking, and some of the big brands are based in Germany, but really tend to see it come through on the timesheets. 1.9 seconds back on Pelletier's time at the second split for Newman. Riding in the German National Federation jersey. You can see already riding in 2 big wrist braces as well. So has been in the wars during his young career already, obviously. Wrist, one of those parts of the body that tend to take a beating in downhill mountain bike racing. I don't think I need to explain that one. As he heads into the really, really steep section now, Newman. 1.9 seconds back, the second split. Stays up high to the rider's left there, works well for him. You can hear the noise growing as he works his way down this track. Drifts across there beautifully, working the bike really, really well now, Newman. Skips through these big gaps, noses into the second one, floats across the third. down the line, goes third, 9 seconds back. So Pelletier, that 3:40.4, looking pretty good. Still just under half a second off that fastest time of Max Halloran yesterday, but would have been good enough for second in quali. The current hot seat time. Lorenzo Mascarini, the Gravity Cartel Rogue Racing. Gravity Cartel starting to amass some really, really strong young riders on their roster. 1.2 back now at the third split for Mascarini. Out of that big gap jump. The landing off it so fast. Sets up perfectly into that berm and crosses the line. 1.3 seconds back actually, but still good enough for second place for Mascarini on the GT. Pelletier applauds that. French national champ sleeve, currently in the hot seat.
5.
Next up, from the UK then, Dan Parfit for BNC Racing. Parfit, 1.2 back, so not undoable from here on down, but he'll have to get a move on. With 19th at the UCI World Championships, Parfit. Third in Fort William at the start of the year, his best UCI World Cup result. 1.5 back now at 4, so Parfit looks like he's lost time as this run has gone on. Down, cross the line for 1.5 seconds back of that time of Raphael Pelletier.
For sure. Come to West,
Nods his head, likes it.
5, 4.
Next up, Vincent Juvenal for K-Bike. That right-hander, absolute slingshot off a corner. 11th at the European Champs earlier this summer for Juvenal. 23rd at the UCI World, so not what he would have hoped for from there. He was 13th in Leger, so Juvenal 2.4 back at the fourth split. This one not quite working out for him. Plenty more bike races ahead though. Another big French talent. 1.7 back off his compatriot in the hot seat. Lucas Lagno then. Canyon Collective Pirelli. Lagno, son of another French downhill legend, Cyril Lagno. Former sparring partner of the man now taking care of the French commentary for us, Cedric Gracia. Know each other well. 12th in Fort William. Really the best we've seen of this man so far. 2.6 seconds back at the fourth split here as well. Lagno, massive reserves of talent and a really big, strong, physical rider. And just learning his racecraft slightly as he noses it into that last left-hander. 2.1 seconds back for Lagno. But on that Canyon Collective, he's have the benefit of the... Look at that, absolutely perfectly pre-hopped through there. We'll have the benefit of the wisdom of none other than Fabian Burrell. On call whenever he needs it. Luke Wayman then. Another Gravity Cartel rider. Wayman. One of those young Kiwis. He's 3.5 seconds up at the fourth split. So Wayman looking like he's going to be the first man to go faster than that qualifying time of Max Halloran yesterday. Here comes Luke Wayman down the line and it goes down in the last corner, tucks the front end within sight of the line. Huge crash for Wayman. The job was done, Wayman. A huge smash right on the last corner. Bitter, bitter disappointment for a rider headed for the hot seat, only to be taken out in the last turn. Medics on their way to him straight away. That was a heavy impact for Wayman. Milan Falke for Goodman Santa Cruz. Here we go. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, down. A horrible crash from Falke. Watch this. These ones feel like they take 2 months to happen. Just clips that rock there and gets stuck on the stem and then deposited down into the undergrowth. Good to see him moving under his own steam. Falke far from happy.
5.
Rudy Eichhorn, Canyon Collective, FMD. Pretty unmissable in the bright pink of the squad run by Tony Seagrave. Eichhorn 7.7 back at the third split, so may have been in trouble himself. That said, 4 seconds down at the second already, so another young rider really trying to turn reserves of talent into race results. Eichhorn from the UK. FMD squad really, figuratively and literally, a family on the road. The Seagraves and the young riders they work with, all very, very close. 10.3 seconds back. Luke Wayman went into the hot seat with that time, by the way, with the crash.
5.
Absolutely unbelievable. That's just been confirmed. Bodie Burke, a lot of people talking about this young man. Had a good time to himself at the UCI World Champs. Let's just look, though. Gets wild off that drop. Lands crossed up. Shoots off the track. Bodie Burke with an absolutely huge hit. And we are seeing just how quickly things can go wrong on a track like this Loudenvielle Peyragout. Monster. Burke sitting up. Looks like he's getting the gloves off and stuff. Usually a good sign in terms of shoulders and elbows.
5.
Was third at the UCI World Champs, Bodie Burke. So we head up to see Rico Maibo. Junior men pushing really, really hard here. Luke Wayman is into the hot seat with a 3:36. After a huge crash in the final corner, and as the fin goes flying, absolutely huge impact for Rico Maibo, or the Estonian, excuse me. He says he's okay, just gets his breath.
5.
Clément Laugier next up to take on the Loudenvielle Peyragout track that is claiming bodies here already today. Laugier. So Wayman must have had an absolutely colossal final sector. He carried the bike across the line into the hot seat, which I've never seen done before. Of course, the rules state you do have to cross the line with your bike, which Wayman was canny enough to do. 4.3 seconds faster, Wayman then. Are we going to see a UCI Downhill World Cup won by a rider who walked across the line? Oh, Laugier getting bucked, and that is exactly what happened to Coulange. Last time out, clever enough, knows he has to get round the pole that he left the track at. Wasn't going his way already. 5.8 back, Laugier. So as we see this, he just gets bucked there, and that sets him up straight, and he can't get the bike turned right. So yep, the laws of downhill state, you've got to re-enter the course where you left it. Castells for Spain, the Muck-Off Young Guns teammate of Heather Wilson. Second today for Wilson, second in the UCI World Cup overall now as well for the young Scotswoman. 2 seconds back at the second split for the Spaniard. And the Mondraker. I don't think we've seen junior men's carnage like this since Mont St. Anne last season. Some of the fastest names fall in already. Some absolutely spectacular crashes in this one so far. Nine to go after this, man. Castells, oh, you saw the front wheel. Try to get away from him there across that off camber. Manages to keep things underway. Wayman finally makes the hot seat. He's topless, but he's there. Oh, Castells moving some earth in that right-hander. 3.6 back at the third split, though. Anything could happen. Next up, Lamaris of Germany, and then it's into Jewett. Alren, the first of the two brothers. Tomlinson, Asa Vermet's in there as well. Newly crowned UCI Junior Downhill World Champ. Not quite himself in quali yesterday. What's he got for us in the race run today? Castells cross the line. Third place, good run, the 3:41.5, 5.4 seconds back. Apologies, heard any language there. But whenever you've been on the journey Luke Wayman has to get into that hot seat, I kind of get it.
5.
Next up, Marco Lamaris, the German for propane positive. Squad, brainchild of Phil Atwell, 2.1 seconds back. I think he's overtaken a rider, or else he's already been down. We'll wait and see what the splits tell us. Yeah, it looks like he's overtaken one of the earlier riders back on track. That is Bodie Burke, I think. Good to see him moving under his own steam. Still quite quick as well. Yeah, propane positive. I've kind of busied himself with gathering very Phil Atwell-like riders. Huge bags of talent on that team, on any kind of bike. Oh, gaps into that compression. Really nicely done. 5.9 seconds back for the German. They get massive points from me as well for having silver rims on those bikes. So top 5 currently: Wayman, Pelletier, Castells, Mascarini, Danny P. 5.9 seconds back in 5th place. So Wayman, 4.3 seconds with an absolutely huge crash in the final corner, which saw him walking his bike across the line. That inside looks like it is a line to take into that final Red Bull drop across the gap. One more gap to go. Then this corner took out the current hot seat rider. 7 seconds back. Inside the top 10 though for the Germans. Shakes the head, but inside the top 10 at the UCI Downhill World Cup, not a bad place to be.
5.
Dean Jewett then for Pivot Factory Racing. His older brother Jacob having a fantastic first elite season. Dean, slightly taller of the two. Big frame on one. He's 3/10 faster at the second split now for the Canadian Dean Jewett on that prototype Pivot Factory Racing machine. The squad of player manager Bernard Kerr coming up later on in the elite men's race. Looking like he's going well here, Jewett, hanging off the back of the bike, weight over the rear axle, dancing through this really steep section, Jewett. Oh, gaps into that hole, pulls really, really hard. Second at the Canadian Downhill National Champs. 1 second back though for Jewett, so he's lost time somewhere. Took the win, Whistler and Garbanzo earlier in the season. One of those really, really famous races. Over on the west coast of Canada. A lot of the legends of the sport have won that one over the years. 1.3 seconds back, so he's lost 3/10, lands almost completely sideways. Will have cost him time, but happy to survive that one. Nice line through there, goes really, really wide. Picks the bike up and just runs out of track and has the awareness to re-enter it from where he left it. Not the result Jewett was on track for. 11.3 seconds back. But once he sees that crash that Wayman had in the same corner, you see just jumped too wide, went around the outside of that pole, and the bike rolled into the berm, so he had to get it back up and around.
Well, it is what it is.
5.
Till Alren, one of the twin brothers. Oh, on clips over that first double jump. Has to get his foot back in on the land, and that will have cost Till time. 1.8 seconds back, so we know he's lost time on that top section. It's like a big, fast BMX track up there. Any mistake at all, and it will multiply as the section wears on. Alren down behind the bars. Who does that look like? Amaury Pierron coming up later in the show. 3.8 seconds back, though, for Till. Slightly slighter of the two brothers, but fantastic touch on a bike, as they both do, actually, of course. But that fastest qualifying time off Max, well beaten by Luke Alren already. Luke Wayman, excuse me. So, shaping up to be a fantastic final. The junior men's downhill race, nearly 5 seconds slower for Alren. So far, the last split was 4.9 seconds slower than Luke Wayman. 6 to go.
Tomlinson, maintenant est en piste d'Américain.
5.
Gavin Tomlinson, another Gravity Collective young rider. Tomlinson in amongst it with this new wave of American talent. Rattles across that off camber really, really nicely. Has to grab some back brake to get the bike turned. 12th at the UCI Downhill World Championships in Pal Aron Sal Andorra. Tomlinson, he was 4th at the Southwest Downhill earlier in the summer too. So getting in amongst the top 5 regularly this year. 1.9 seconds back here for Tomlinson. The top 5 covered by 5.6 for some context. So all in front of him like a wheelbarrow at the minute. Next up, Asa Vermette, then it's Chris Hauser. Those two set to do battle. George Madley, great qualifying session from him. Then Max Alren, fastest qualifier. This one's starting to get serious now, and we've seen some big crashes and some big split gaps. There is Asa Vermette in the gate, and that blue GoPro helmet. Oh, again, just gets bucked through there. Tomlinson manages to hang on to it, much like Heather Wilson did earlier on in the junior women's race. Tomlinson, 4.2 seconds back on the time of Luke Wayman. What would that time of Luke Wayman look like without that crash? Tomlinson crosses the line and goes third. So,
in the third place is Gavin Tomlinson.
On the podium, provisionally at least anyway for Tomlinson. Good run. Here we go though. Asa Vermette
5.
racing for the first time in the UCI Downhill World Champions Rainbow Stripes. What a fairy tale story this has been so far this season for this man, Vermette. Leads the way in the UCI Downhill Junior overall title race as well. Not by a whole lot from the fastest qualifier, Max Allren, it has to be said, but he's 7/10ths quicker at the first split for Vermette. His team manager, Nico Mullally, or certainly team owner, who's developed that Frameworks bike with Vermette, spoke really openly earlier in the week in the Downtime podcast about the battle to keep Vermette in the fold, and one of, if not the hottest properties in the sport currently, this man on screen now, cemented that with that UCI World Championship title, is on a 2-year deal with Frameworks. On that bike developed by one of the best US downhill racers, Mullally, but Vermette goes down, huge crash, 3 seconds up as well. Front end just tucked on that left-hand berm. Let's watch the front wheel of the bike here. And it just got cross-rutted, touched each side of the rut and spits Asa Vermette out the front door. Huge impact. Luke Wayman sits on in the hot seat as Vermette gathers himself together. GoPro looked like it shot off the helmet. Not the start Asa Vermette would have envisaged for his UCI World Champions defence. Well, as you can see, just if you watch the front, it'll tag the left and the right side of that rut, and then the crash. Huge, huge impact for Asa Vermette. He is back up and rolling though, so 4 to go. As the clouds start to roll in at the top of the track, this looks ominous for our elite races coming up later on.
Seconds.
Visibility virtually zero. Weller inbound. Hauser, the Italian national champion, hit a tree in Fort William early in the year that would rattle anybody's fillings out of their head. But a big, big talent. 9th in Val di Sole Trentino, 6th at the UCI World Championships in Andorra. Last year took the win in Lenzerheide at the opening round of the season. He's been kind of sort of marching his way back towards that kind of form, with a couple of injuries along the way. Nearly 60 kilometers an hour through that first speed trap. Will we see the 60 mark broken today? So word from our man in the pits, Josh Carlson, is that dry tyres are back on, but everybody is now scrambling at the top with this cloud blowing in. Is it going to bring rain with it? And this is why races like this are absolutely invaluable to these junior riders. Develop that racecraft and decision making. 0.8 of a second back at the first split for Hauser, so he's well in touch here. You see that windsock blowing hard to the left as the Weller starts to move in, as if there wasn't enough intrigue this afternoon. Loudenvielle Peyragout might be set to serve up a little bit more. There's the top 5 as they stand then. Wayman, Pelletier, Tomlinson, Allren and Castells. 5.4 seconds separate the top 5. This man well in touch with them. 6/10 now, so he's found 2/10. That's where Vermette had his crash Hauser through it safely, but you can see a couple of big holes starting to form in that left-hand berm. Oh. Scrubs off as much speed as possible on the bridge. It's actually deceiving that shot, that bridge. Quite steeply pitched downhill as well towards the corner, so difficult to do. What's the third split going to tell us from Hauser? The South Tyrolean goes really low there and then cuts across and goes out wide. Really, really nice line choice from Hauser. That looked like it worked well. Sets up high. Just getting moved around slightly there. Scrubs off a bit more speed. Hauser looking good here. He's 1/10 of a second now off at the third split. What is split 4 going to tell us? Chris Hauser, he's still within a second. He's lost time, but he's within the same second as our leader, Luke Wayman. And we know Wayman had problems in the last corner. Is this going to be a new fastest time for Christian Hauser, the Italian? Oh, so nearly out the front door in that last jump. Hauser crossed the line and goes second by 0.8 of a second. So Wayman's quick reactions to get up and get that bike over the line, paying absolute dividends here. Free to go at the top. Hauser really neat and tidy on the bike. Knees together. Really locked in body shape for such a big rider. Again, apologies if you heard any language at all down there.
5, 4.
Tyler Waite. Another fast New Zealander, as well as he's qualified this season. Yeti Fox Factory Race Team. Bumped into Damien Smith, the team manager, in reception. Look at the Weller up there now, moving in. Last night, on the hunt for some Enduro trophies. Richie Rude getting the overall done and dusted again. So, Waite is faster up top by 0.6 of a second. Is he able to carry that momentum into the bottom half of the course now? The New Zealand national champion goes really, really wide up on the bank. This next left-hander, that little cut-in was so pivotal in qualifying yesterday. Overcooks that double slightly, but gets away with it. Heads towards the second split. He's 2 seconds faster now, Tyler Waite. Madley and Allren left at the top after this man. In the famous turquoise blue. The word iconic gets thrown around far too much, but when it comes to Yeti cycles, it's pretty much the only word for them. Really different line choice there. Goes far to the rider's right and looks smoother as well. Just hangs a foot off though. In trouble there, front wheel wash, but he managed to get the land anchor deployed. Wayman watches on. Tyler Waite doing a great job of just widening this track out and carrying speed. Really planted on the number 14 bike. The Yeti Downhill prototype machine. Debuted by Richie Rude last season, the last couple of rounds of the year. Waite looking really good here. Gaps across, stays upright. 2.4 seconds now. He's finding time in every section. This is a superb run from Tyler Waite. Building up nicely. Just a reminder then, fastest qualifying time yesterday was a 3:39.5 by Max Allren. This one's going to be well underneath that if it keeps going the way it's going for Tyler Waite. Gets a couple of pedal strokes in there. Has to get the bike back on the deck quickly to make the backside. What's split 4 going to tell us? comes Tyler Waite down the line. Is this going to be the new fastest time of the day? Is it going to be enough to win the race? Waite crosses the line and goes 2.7 seconds faster than his compatriot Luke Wayman. Wayman with that dramatic crash on the line, finally outdone by another Kiwi. Amanda from the Yeti team is down there. What a run, what a statement of intent. Tyler Waite, take a bow. Two to go. UK. Seventh at the European Continental Championships earlier this year. UK national champion. 18th the UCI World Championships last weekend. 0.7 of a second back at the first split, but we know that Tyler Waite was incredibly fast across the top half of this track. Incredibly fast just about everywhere on this track. Madly off that stall wall, sets the wheels down, hooks that rut up and then heads over to the right hand side. It's a good entry into there, but might just caught a hole on the way down there. Riding from Madison Saracen alongside Greg Williamson, Matt Walker under the tutelage of Will Longdon. That team disbanded for next season, so Madly looking for a ride in the shop window here. 2.3 seconds back at the second split. That's where Vermette had his crash. Turns hard right. Nice big straight line down over that drop for Madly. This new custom livery and race kit for the last couple of races. Oh, you see the front wheel trying to get away from Madly there. Really compact rider on the bike, not unlike Troy Brosnan in terms of style, Madly. Stays really central. Next up though, fastest qualifier from yesterday. Madly 2.8 back at the third split, so not going the Saracen riders' way today so far. Rattles that pole on the way through, using every millimetre of track. 4.8 seconds back now at the fourth split, so Madly, on clips, huge crash. Just unclipped on the way into that left-hander and got spat off the bike. Watch this. And gets hit by the bike on the way down as well. Massive, massive crash for George Madly. He is up and moving though. And that is the one positive you'd have to say from that. It was by no means a bad run, but here we go. Max Allrun for Commensal Muck-Off by Riding Addiction, the reigning European champion. The fastest qualifier from yesterday. Fifth or higher here today would see him take the lead in the overall. He's 0.3 of a second back at the top from Tyler Waite. Allrun, the two brothers really just being like absolute sponges in that Commensal Muck-Off pit. Just absorbing racecraft knowledge, attention to detail, line choice from the likes of Amaury Pierron and Miriam Nicole. Allrun just gets thrown up in the air there. that stall wall. Let's see what the second split then says. Hard to know if he'll have been told about Asa Vermette's crash further down here and the implications that may have. Some riders want to know those details. Others like to keep things simply. 500ths of a second now into the lead. Max Allren getting things rolling. And there's another Max Commensal watching the monitor down at the bottom. The eponymous creator of Commensal bikes, who has a pedigree like no other for bringing French racers through the ranks. Allren looking good here. What is the third split going to tell us? Is it going to stay green, or is he going to slip backwards into the red? Clips that pole on the way through. Oh, just about makes that gap across there. No more. He's a second faster now, Allren. Max Commensal clenches a fist. Are we going to see another Max Allren win this afternoon? Is he going to move into the lead of the UCI World Cup overall title race? Or are we going to see Tyler Waite take the win? This one, 1.3 seconds now. Allren gets past the section that took out George Madley. The French crowd start to believe. Allren heading down the line on that Commensal. Is he going to go fastest? The young Frenchman does, and it's the win for Max Allren. Fastest qualifier, fastest on race day. Tyler Waite will have to wait a little longer for his debut win. Absolutely no shame in that. A superb run from that man. But Max Allren takes the victory, and along with it, the lead in the UCI World Cup overall. The European champ reigns supreme in Loudenvielle, Périgueux. I don't think there was much left in those arms to lift that Commensal over his head. That is the new leader of the junior men's UCI Downhill World Cup overall rankings. Again, who does that look like? Tucked in behind the bars like Amaury Pierron. Pierron with a big problem on his hands later on this afternoon in the shape of Loic Bruni. But the new generation of French riders are here. And at the start of this season, it was all about Asa Vermette, but this man has ridden himself back into the lead of the overall. Wins in Leogang, Val di Sole, Trentino. Wins at European Continental Championship level. Oh, scrubbed off there. Absolutely perfectly. Thibaut Ruffin, big smile on his face. That's the day off to a good start for that squad. And the two Maxes, Commensal and Allren. That is a partnership that could be set to run and run and run. Let's get confirmation then. Max Allren takes the win by 1.6 seconds ahead of Tyler Waite. Then it's Luke Wayman, Christian Hauser, Raphael Pelletier round out the top five. Then it's Tomlinson, Allren, Castells, Mascarini and Parfit. 10.3 seconds the spread of the top 10. Then Juvenal, DeSalle, good run from Mikey DeSalle. Lanyo, Lamaris, Eichhorn, Jewett, Newman, George Madley after that huge crash. Moselle in 19th. Then it's Logier, Danon, Vermette down in 22nd after that huge crash. We await news on him. Falke and Moivo, huge.
Wow, huge congratulations, Max. What a run from you today. Your third World Cup junior win, and now you're leading the overall battle as well. How important was that run for you today and those points?
Wow, it was so good. Like, I really enjoyed the track, but yeah, it was completely destroyed. Pretty hard, but so fun to ride, and yeah, I give it all I have, and that's so sick.
When you're up there, when you're waiting for your turn, how much are you aware of what's going on? Because we did see a lot of riders off their bike today.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, it's just incredible. I don't know.
Well, it clearly didn't affect you at all. And you're here in France in front of a home crowd. What do you make of them today?
Yeah, thank you everyone. And my parents are here, and they're really, really happy to win here. Incredible place. Pretty nice weather yesterday, but today it's started to be cloudy, so we'll see.
Big celebrations tonight?
Maybe, I don't know, we'll see.
Do you have a message for the crowd, maybe in French, that you want to share?
Merci tout le monde et je vous aime. Trop bien.
Merci, well done.
Big result from Max Allrun. Thanks the crowd. Family and friends as ever here. Commensal. Mock off by Riding Addiction. A tightly knit team. And their boy got it done today. Huge ride from Allrun. But one of the overarching stories to come from that junior men's race is a cloud that was rolling in along the top. There's confirmation then of your new leader of the overall points standings. Allrun takes the lead from Vermette with just one to go by 33 points. But Wayman, look, 54 points off. Jewett in there as well. So all to play for in Mont Saint Anne. Giambi's in 11th. Dodora 12th.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the award ceremony of the UCI Downhill World Cup Junior Women's event here in Loudenvielle, Haute-Pyrénées. To present the awards, pour présenter les plus aussi, nous allons avoir
le directeur de l'événement, event director Ludovic Henry, branding manager branding Baptiste Stringfield, et également Monsieur Laurent Autier, manager régional PACOM.
in the third place from Track to Factory Racing Rally is Sasha Ernest.
Sasha Ernest.
A bronze medalist from the World Championships and multiple podium finisher this year.
On the podium.
Where she is expected on the
place
podium,
today
keeping
for
the run
Ernest.
for the overall. It is Sasha Ernest.
Fastest qualifier, the winner here last season. Not sure if that's what she rolled out of the start hut.
Second place.
Hoping that run would bring, but it's points in the bank.
On the British champ, once again, right up in the mix.
Heather Wilson next out, second place today.
Heather Wilson,
the British national champ.
Nicely executed for
Knock off Young Guns. Edging closer back to that top step again. Second place today, by no means a bad result at the UCI Downhill World Cup. She'll get a chance in a few weeks in Mont Saint Anne to round things off with a win. But speaking of winners, Eris van Leuven, Commensal Lesor, freshly recrowned UCI Downhill World Champion, back on the top step here at the UCI Downhill World Cup.
Your winner, Eris van Leuven.
Van Leuven, Wilson and Ernest then, your top three in the junior women's downhill. Loudenvielle, Peyragout.
And now, ladies, it's time to pop the cork.
champagne. Confirmation of those standings then. 15 points of difference between Van Leuven and Wilson as they head into the final round. Husselbosch only 20 points off them, and Ernest only 60 points behind, so that one could go any way. So we head to Quebec. Clouds continuing to move around the Loudenvielle Valley here. We wait to see some live shots from the top. General consensus seems to have been during the junior races that the dry tyres are back on. We've seen everything from full spikes, cut spikes. Mixes. Every basically possible combination of tyre choice have been out and about in Loudenvielle-Peyragueux this week. 1:15 this afternoon, the elite women's downhill final gets underway. 2 o'clock Central European time. Elite men's, and look at the top of the track here in Loudenvielle-Peyragueux. What we can see of it, that split marker disappearing in front of our eyes. Good news is that those two young lads seem to be in t-shirts still, so I don't see any jackets or umbrellas up there. Hopefully things stay dry. Plenty of action, plenty of intrigue already from the Junior Downhill World Cup. Elites are up next. Don't go anywhere.